Very good morning and welcome to the AM News with me, Mapita Sibi. Now, in our first story, National Security Minister Albert Kandapar says former Ashanti Regional Security Liaison Office DCOP retired Ayensi Opare-Addo was removed from office by operatives from the ministry because he was obstructing the work of his successor. Responding to questions in Parliament, Mr. Kandapar explained DCOP Opare-Addo refused to leave office even though his two-year contract had been cancelled by the National Security Coordinator. He adds negotiations to get him to leave office proved futile, compelling the National Security Coordinator to send operatives to Kumasi to change the locks to his office. DCOP Opare-Addo has alleged he was assaulted by the men when they stormed his office. But Mr. Kandapar says no official complaint has gotten to him.
Was given a 2-year contract to serve as the Ashanti Regional Security Liaison Officer after the expiration of an initial 2-year contract, which began on January 5th, 2018. His new appointment, Mr. Speaker, took effect from January 1, 2020 and was to expire on December 31st, 2022. However, his appointment was terminated on February 19, 2021 by the National Security Coordinator. Upon the termination of his contract, Mr. Speaker, DCOP Opare-Addo was paid his entitlements as per his appointment letter. Subsequent to the termination of the appointment of DCOP Opare-Addo, the ministry appointed Colonel Francis Dufa Atta, retired, as the new Ashanti Regional Security Liaison Officer. The Colonel's appointment took effect from 1st May 2021. But Mr. Speaker, DCOP Opare-Addo refused to hand over to Colonel Francis Dufa Atta. DCOP Opare-Addo then declined numerous invitations from the National Security Coordinator to explain his refusal to vacate the office. Meanwhile, his continued stay in office obstructed the work of the new Regional Security Liaison Officer. Mr. Speaker, against this backdrop, personnel from the Ministry of National Security were, on 11th May 2021, dispatched to the Ashanti region to ascertain the reason for DCOP Opare-Addo's refusal to hand over to his successor, and if it became necessary, to change the locks of the door to his office. On arrival, Mr. Speaker, at his office, the personnel duly introduced themselves but were met with acts of hostility by DCOP Opare-Addo, including drawing his side arm. The personnel managed to restrain him and retrieve the side arm. Mr. Speaker, till date, no official complaint has been made by DCOP Opare-Addo either to his immediate boss, the National Security Coordinator, or to me as the Sector Minister regarding the alleged assault on him. Neither has the Minister of National Security received any correspondence from the police in relation to the allegations by DCOP Opare-Addo. Sir Speaker, I will want to assure the House of our willingness to investigate the allegations should any official complaint be made by DCOP Opare-Addo.
In the Ashanti region, a Kumasi Circuit Court has granted bail to two siblings seen brandishing a pump-action gun and pistols in a viral social media video. The accused persons, Emmanuel Dakura, also known as Wa, and Richard Suleiman, were slapped with 3 charges. The charges include conspiracy to publish false news, publication of false news with intent to cause fear and alarm, and carrying offensive weapons contrary to the Criminal Offences Act 1960, Act 29. Ohimetira monitored developments and filed this report.
The two siblings appeared before the Kumasi Circuit Court, presided by His Honor Ebenezer Kwaku Ansah, over 3 counts of conspiracy to publish false news, publication of false news with intent to cause alarm, and possession of offensive weapons. The prosecution was led by Chief Superintendent Kofi Blagoji, who pleaded with the court to remand the accused persons at least for 2 weeks to enable police continue with their investigations to establish the source of the weapon and the whereabouts of the weapons displayed in the viral social media video. The counsel for the accused persons, Charles Owusu Ansah, pleaded with the court to grant the accused persons bail because, according to him, they are citizens who are law-abiding and reported themselves to police even when the video came into the public domain. But Prosecutor Chief Superintendent Kofi Blagoji objected to the bail application and argued the granting of bail to the accused persons could interfere with police investigations. The presiding judge, His Honor Ebenezer Ansah, after listening to the arguments from both the prosecutor and counsel for the accused persons, granted them bail on the grounds that they have already spent more than 48 hours in police custody and the accused persons might not even interfere with police investigations. The judge granted them 50,000 Ghana cedis bail with 2 sureties to be justified, and also asked the accused persons to report themselves in every 3 days to police. From Kumasi, for JoyNews, Ohimetira reporting.
Now, daylight robbery is increasingly becoming an albatross around the country's neck as armed robbers easily make away with their booty before the police arrive. Fortunately, some graduates of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology have designed a smart panic button, a device used to increase the response time of the police and leave evidence for investigation. On Tech Thursday, Love FM's Kwesi Deborah speaks with Stephen Boache from Pong and Jesse Anim of Startup Tech Devisal Limited.
His mind will change.
So I'm Jesse Anim, the head of IT in Tech Devisal Limited.
So I'm Stephen Boache from Pong, the CEO of Tech Devisal Limited. Tech Devisal is actually a group of students that is graduates and undergraduates from the KNUST. So we are behind a lot of technological solutions keyed at solving our key problems. So just like this invention, which is directed to the increasing daylight robberies in the country. So we needed to come up with an invention that at least counters that and then increases the response time of the security personnel to curb the problem and then make available evidence whenever there is such scenes. This reduces the crime rate and then make it very difficult for people to get robbed, especially on the daylight.
So what the device does is it has been linked to the police service. So anytime you have an issue, all you have to do is to hit on the button. So the button also has a camera inbuilt, which records a live feed of whatever happens and then stores it in the cloud for future evidence. We have the device, okay, there's a camera here, and then there's a button here. So the device, this is assuming this is the police device, okay, and you are in trouble. All you need to do is to hit this button here once, okay. Then what it's going to do is it's going to send SMS to your phone, and then after that it's going to call your phone. You can see the SMS here. Yeah, emergency at Sawa Bow Stop. Okay, then this is the address. Okay, then it will call the phone. So we are assuming this is the police phone. Okay, so it will call the police. Also, it's going to send email to the cloud. Okay, so that you can have video evidence of what it will be taken by the Raspberry Pi, by the camera, sorry.
When the police received the mail, as you can see, this is my colleague here. So it takes a picture and a video of the scene and drops it in the cloud. So this message like this is on the police's phone, and you can, if you're a robber and you're at the scene, you can never get access to this. Meanwhile, your picture and details have been taken by the device and dropped over here. So it seems to work like taking a video of a robber and then quickly forwarding it to the police or what have you on real-time basis without the robber getting the chance to destroy your phone first before you send the mail. What makes this device special and important is the fact that many a times when people are under attack, the best thing the person could do is to pick up a phone and call the police. And at those situations, doing that will draw the attention of the robbers or what have you. So this device, what it does is it makes it possible for you to push one button and report to the police without talking or mentioning anything. And when the button is pushed, no one sees that any button has been pushed. It's just quiet. So the device is able to call the police wherever they are and then inform them of the robbery at this building, and then it gives them the Ghana GPS location of the place so that they can arrive to the scene on time and then avert the situation. Let's say in a case where the police come and the robbers might have gone already. Yes, so the device stores a video footage of the scene and then images and stores it in the cloud. When we talk of a cloud, it means even if the device is destroyed at the scene, the police will still have access to the information because it has been stored over the internet and they receive it in their systems over the internet wherever they are. Taking, for example, this incident that happened in Accra concerning the Forex Bureau robbery, the manager and everybody could have, like, let's say 20 buttons populated at vantage points at the place. So whenever there is such incident, anyone that has access to the button can just push it and then it reports to the police on real-time basis so that they can avert the situation. Given a situation when there is a moving car, let's say comparing the incident of the bullion vans, when the button is pushed, it gives the police a live location of the place so that they can track it just like the Uber map to come to the scene on time. And even if they are not able to get there are cameras in the car and outside the car that record the scene and then drop in the same cloud so that there will be concrete evidence.
Away from that, economist Kwame Pianim has charged the Ghana National Association of Teachers NAT to consider retirement packages for teachers. According to him, the current Teachers Fund is beneficial to teachers who are still in the profession, but a retirement plan will ensure the teachers are well catered for after they finally put their chalk down. Speaking at a NAT Investment Forum, Mr. Pianim also sets out a 20-year strategic plan for the association, an act he believes would improve the livelihood of teachers and also attract younger people to the profession. Hannah Odami was there for JoyNews.
Teachers Fund, established to assist members resolve their short-term financial needs, has been a major pillar for most teachers in Ghana.
Through the fund, I have been able to, I was able to pay for my education at the tertiary level, and today look at where I am today.
Managers of the fund, however, believe more can be done beyond the benefits being derived from it currently. In line with this, the investment summit was to deliberate on further opportunities to improve the welfare of the teacher.
Imagine macroeconomic instability, city depreciation and so forth has taken away almost half, $400–600 million wasted because of the city depreciation. So how do we stabilize and redirect some of the investments? I think that the leadership can promise, can undertake to you for the next 20 years that two things can happen. If every teacher had a 10 to 15-year life insurance policy, work towards a retirement home, and when I say home, I say we build a house, but once you move in and you make it comfortable, it becomes a home. So a retirement home, in your choice of the area that you are retiring into, not the place where you work necessarily, and that house should be insured.
Deputy Education Minister Dr. Intim Fojo took the opportunity to inform teachers of what the ministry is doing to address their concerns.
Among such interventions, which the Honorable Minister for Education, Dr. Yao Ose Educhum, is very much committed to implementing and would very much require your support, is the National Education Institute, which is aimed at equipping the teacher with school leadership and management skills and continuous training to help improve the management and leadership in our schools. The Teacher Welfare App is targeted at addressing teacher welfare and ensuring that across the length and breadth of this country, every teacher that is teaching in every classroom in every community is assured that there are people out there that are listening to their grievances, that are listening to their concerns, and will timeously address those concerns so that they will have their sound mind to continue effective teaching.
President of NAT, Philippa Larsing, reminded teachers why they need to contribute to the scheme.
It is in retirement that you experience a lot of ailments. At the end of the day, the SNP benefit you receive will not do you any good. It is my prayer that we look into ourselves and tell ourselves that henceforth, all the mansions we pride ourselves in, where at the end of the day you are left alone in there, and the design is such that you cannot even rent anyone out. We have to wise up.
For Joy News, I am Hannah Odami.
And for the AM News, I am Mapito Sibiri. For more news, you can log on to myjoyonline.com. The AM show continues with Mama V and Benjamin.
I have the Daily Graphic, Business Finder, and the B&FT. Would you like to start?
Yeah, and not the conventional way for me today. I want to begin with the Daily Dispatch newspaper because of the banner headline. Kandapar tells Parliament, I approved forceful removal of Ashanti security coordinator. There's a backstory to it, I guess. When it happened, until Mr. Kandapar spoke yesterday, we had only heard from the man who was pushed. But there's a reason behind it, apparently. So National Security Minister Albert Kandapar says that he actually authorized the forceful eviction of former Ashanti Regional Security Coordinator, DCOP Opare Ado, retired from office by some national security operatives. The move was necessary after several attempts to get the security coordinator to vacate post after termination of his appointment proved futile. And he disclosed they had invited him several times. He refused to do so, and so they had to. But he also reveals that they actually received some sort of resistance from DCOP Opare Ado. You know, Mr. Opare Ado had come with his side of the story that he had been handcuffed. There was some sort of assault as well. And I guess this is the other side that we have not heard. But he also discloses that Mr. Opare Ado has not made any official complaint to his outfit, which is to say there is no investigation going on because he hasn't complained. So he told Parliament if Mr. Opare Ado comes forward to complain, then he would investigate the matter. So nothing is happening. I don't know what other actions Mr. Opare Ado has taken since first coming out and telling all of us what had happened to him.
Well, he remains pretty tight-lipped. I know yesterday, for example, we attempted speaking to him, that is on radio, but he was not, at least at that time, willing to speak. So the ball is fully in his court, as and when he feels he wants to pursue the matter.
They say he refused to leave office, and so they had to force him out. They had terminated, they had paid his entitlement to him, apparently, and he still refused to leave, so they had to push him out.
You know, we've heard other, sides, the other coin of the story, where supposedly he was not the one who was being ejected or forcefully moved out, but it was he rather who was being very resistant. So the dynamics are in there, but in the end, he must pursue the matter if he wants to do so.
Let's look at the other headlines. Ghana is peaceful, safe for business. France ambassador to Ghana making those comments. Gadangbe youth back Henry Quartet to make Accra work again. 170 million US dollar judgment debt was for wrongful termination, not signing. So that's former Power Minister Kwabena Donko saying that to the Attorney General Godfred Iyabwa Dame. On the back page of the paper, well, it's just the full story of what Mr. Kandapa said to Parliament, and maybe that will be it for the Daily Dispatch.
Okay, let's get into the Daily Graphic. But before I do, I believe Albert Kandapa, the National Security Minister, was also saying that he stood by his actions when it comes to DCOP or Pariado, and that if the situation arose again, he would do same.
Yeah.
That is where I have a bit of a concern about. I mean, aren't there better processes to get people out of office than this very forceful, interaction?
That is my only concern. Go to court and get an order to evict him?
It happened twice. If we're going to be replicating this, before you know it, other institutions are also saying, hey, I mean, we've seen hoodlums, in quote, getting people out of office, medical staff, these people who are legally there. So you must also look at it from a different lens, where if we are not careful, this could become rampant and people could just be evicting whomever, even if legally. I mean, there are structures.
I worry, actually.
There are structures.
And my worry is not that some people may copy, because according to what Mr. Kandapa said, he had no business being in the office because his contract had been terminated and his entitlements paid to him. My worry really is that
the man not say something about his name and not his name not being the one.
Those were the backstories that we had.
That came up.
My worry, though, is that why won't he listen to the authority that put him there? And what does that say about a leader if you put someone there and then you fire the person and the person tells you in the face with impunity that I ain't going to go?
But you do recall, he said something again about Mr. President in the heat of everything, telling him to, just stay put. And you see, there are so many dynamics to this. If assuming it were true that Mr. President told him to stay put and all of that, so whom is he listening to? Who is the appointing authority in the first place, we know? And how does the National Security Minister... I mean, it's just a convoluted mess, but I'm saying that we can do better than saying, it's like... Let me give you a typical example. In media space, it's like saying, you have a presenter who has goofed or someone you no longer want to work with your entity, and then the person is on air and you come and drag the person out of the studio. It's akin to that. Does that make any sense?
It comes back to leadership. It comes back to leadership. I mean, it's not fun that you say that we fired him, but he said he won't go, and so I had to ask my men to go and get him out. It's not cool. How does that sound?
Well, let's get into the Daily Graphic newspaper now. All set, 3 days to census night. It's getting exciting, isn't it? Kind of like Christmas. 3 days to census night. With census night just 3 days away, the Ghana Statistical Service says all is on course for the conduct of the 2021 population and housing census. And you've been speaking to some of their authorities in recent times. Of course, they have their own constraints logistically and beyond, but we pray for a successful census. I think recently I heard of how, a lot of people are going to work, leaving their homes, sometimes leaving house helps and the rest at home. But some people are very suspicious, so they've told their house helps and all that not to allow anybody in because people, we have people impersonating ECG officers. People could impersonate census officers. So it's a reality, but we're hoping that the right things will be done so that these people are genuinely working, they are easily identifiable.
Yeah.
Because we need these statistics as a country.
Yeah, and we've been talking about that, how to identify the census officers so that you can, because that's what they are there to do, and so you can't refuse to talk to them. Otherwise, they can't get the information that they need. But yes, you must be able to identify them before you open your doors and your gates to them.
So some international stories, pages 5 and 9, and quickly, court restrains Nigeria from prosecuting Twitter users, and the ECOWAS court has restrained the Nigerian government from unlawfully prosecuting people using Twitter, while it is considering a legal action launched by activists and journalists seeking to reverse a ban on the social media giant. I saw this, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? I think it's ITEL, and they were, I mean, this is what had been posted, that their accounts, because they can't operate it in Nigeria, so it was going to be handled by ITEL Ghana at a point, managed, because they can't manage it from there. And I found it interesting. But when you go to the other international page, page 9, Hong Kong pro-democracy paper announces closure. I'm going to raise this one because of what is happening in Ghana, and hopefully bring it up when the members of parliament also converge on the show this morning. EU threatens action against Hungary's LGBT plus bill, and the European Union's chief executive has threatened legal action against Hungary for legislation that restricts young people's access to information about LGBT plus issues. Last week, the Hungarian parliament approved the controversial bill, which has to be signed by the president to take effect. And this is for largely concerning literature for under 18-year-olds. And Germany had wanted the match that we're going to play in the Allianz Arena of Bayern Munich to have the stadium lit with LGBT colors. And UEFA denied their request, and that raised a storm. And Hungary, on the other end, had said that it was a good thing to avoid politics getting into sports. So I'm just tying that into what we are saying on the back of, LGBTQI plus legislation. So we'll see how that pans out.
I just feel that isn't the EU too much into Hungary's, business? Because after all, they're a sovereign state. It almost sounds, the pressure is too much.
My thinking exactly.
Almost sounds like they want to make their laws for them, but that's not their country.
Upper East region tops in teenage pregnancies. That's on page 13. The middle spread of the paper says Wale Wale watermelon factory to be completed March 22. A lot of the time when you go around, I think the last time was in Old Fadama, a lot of people call watermelon watermilo. I like it when I hear it though. And consider retirement homes for teachers, Kwame Pianim tells Nat. On the back page, Quay Power's Olympics past Bechem United. Kotoko beat Karela to take top spot. Asante Kotoko's Brazilian star, Fabio Gum,
what was the scoreline?
turned hero for his side when he set up a goal and nailed the winning goal as the Porcupine Warriors defeated Karela 2-1 at the Langley Stadium.
I heard there was terrible officiating in this game.
Terrible waiting.
Yeah, seriously.
You would. You definitely would hear that.
I don't know who benefited from it, but you remember when I had my conversation, when they were left with about 7 games, the panelists, the pundits, sports administrators, sports journalists were all talking about bad officiating. And we hope that the crucial match this Sunday, we will not be recording such incident.
You're playing Legon Cities next, right?
Yeah, we're playing Legon Cities today, this Thursday. But I'm talking about Sunday's game.
Or should I say you are falling to Legon Cities today?
Oh, think whatever you want to think, really. But I had promised.
We'll come here tomorrow.
I have promised to rock Karela today on the show if they had won or drawn that game yesterday. It's just unfortunate.
Okay. But I'll tell you about 2 matches that had very good officiating yesterday.
Okay.
Hungary versus Germany, Portugal versus France. Both of them ended in stalemates, 2-2. But trust me, these were exhilarating matches. I know Muftar will be telling us more, especially Portugal versus France.
Okay.
3 penalties. Anyway, amazing stuff. Let's check out. Are you done with the Ghanaian Times?
No, I'm now going to start the Ghanaian Times, actually. So here's what's on the front page of the Times. Vice President rallies support for effective implementation of Land Act. New national standardized test for pupils takes off in November, according to the Education Minister. 2 arrested in connection with murder of boy at Ndogo Kofa. COVID-19 mitigating measures. Government spends 896.3 million Ghana cedis on free water, according to Madam Cecilia Abinadapa.
She says they are doing
896.3. That's a lot.
I think they paid, is it 500 plus? And the remainder, I mean, they're doing due diligence so that they know whether these services were actually delivered before they direct for the Finance Ministry to also make payments. At least.
We knew it was going to cost us. And
There's
we knew
no free
we
lunch
would,
anywhere.
We knew we would pay back as
So why
well.
didn't we just pay in the first place?
Well.
You either pay through your hand or you pay through the nose. Whichever way, you still pay.
Let's do page 3. 3 persons believed to be Langats operating within East Legon are facing trial at Accra High Court for terrorizing an estate developer. Details of that story on page 3. And this headline was on the front page, but it's linked to a 12-year-old who was found dead in a shrine last month in the Volta region. There are 2 persons who were arrested. They ran off to Togo, but thanks to Interpol, Togo and Interpol Ghana on Saturday, they were grabbed and handed over to the Ghanaian authorities on Tuesday. So in all, we've arrested 5 persons in connection with this. But the motive, so police is still investigating the matter, but they say that the motive of the murder was to use the various body parts for a ritual to establish a new deity at the shrine. Okay, so details of this arrest and this whole story and where the investigation has gotten to in the paper today. Also, a mobile phone dealer and 3 shop attendants have been arraigned in an Accra Circuit Court yesterday for allegedly stealing mobile phones worth 107,035. The accused, Isaac Yeboah, Wilson Osei, Dennis Apia Kuni, and Kwabene Champong, were said to have stolen the mobile phones, sold them, and shared the proceeds among themselves. And then burial takes place of Mr. Bill Marshall, who was 88, a former director of the National Film and Television Institute in Accra on Saturday, June 26, 2021. Let's do the back page of the paper. Legon cities vowed to stop hearts today. Well, it's not about talk. So let's see. They should bring their game on. In the meantime, I think they are disputing buying matches because, and this was the coach reacting to some stories that people say that, oh, they've been winning games rather surprisingly in recent days. And so it means that they've been buying. But hey, Bashir Hayford says that's not it. We're just in good form these days, and that's why we're winning the games. So we want them to bring their good form on today, and let's see. All right, that's it for the Ghanaian Times.
Okay, so we're going to do this at some point, and maybe right after my paper or before. Of course, we told you about that painter, that tattoo artist that we're going to be bringing you. As and when we're ready with that, we shall connect with him. He's already doing his bit, and we'll show you just how creative we can get. And Mama Fio Uso Abaje has promised to get a tattoo today. I don't know what she's going to tattoo. She pointed to her neck. I don't know what tattoo she's going to.
Media people, you twist people. You've turned to, I mean, like,
Masheda.
how?
Masheda.
I said I could.
I was on the Ochi protest. I got you right there.
He's changed the thing and he's given another headline that I promised to get a tattoo.
Okay, now you won't get the tattoo again. No, let's just, so have you moved from? Okay, so yes, I admit, but will you or won't you get the tattoo?
I am telling you.
Tattoo.
If it would take like 20 minutes. I'm still trying to figure out what I will put here. I don't know.
I'll tell you some of what people have put on. The likes of Drake and all those footballers. Some put their children. Oh, I remember this one. I think we mentioned it here at some point. We had a photo in one of the papers. I think the man's, I don't know whether it was Brazil, his child had cancer and was dying. Her final drawing, it was in color, these watercolors. and he tattooed it on his body. I'm not a fan of tattoos, by the way.
That is
medical reasons.
That is too cute.
But
if it's the last thing you witness your child do, and that's what they left with you before they went away for good, yeah, why not?
Anyway, so that is it. But Hansen will be joining us shortly. Let's do this quickly so we can get some time for him to do that. Business finder, no flights. Vegetable exporters unhappy. They incur heavy losses, demand dedicated flight. Teachers fund hits 2 billion Ghana cedis. That's according to NAT. And tourist site hosting biggest tree in West Africa given facelift. I just want to take a quick look at that. The Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, together with the Ghana Tourist Development Company, has commissioned the redeveloped Big Tree tourist site at Aprokumase, Achemanso in Oda. The ministry indicated that the facility, which housed the biggest tree in West Africa, will continue to serve as a tourist site to generate more revenue and also help provide jobs for community members. I'm looking at it and wondering whether it's a baobab, but it looks pretty big right there. Professor Alex Dodu gets glowing praise. That's on page 9. And standards bodies have across the world have been congratulating Ghana and her candidate, Professor Alex Dodu, for winning the presidency of the African Organization for Standardization, ASO. The victory was met with entirely positive responses from their leaders. And finally, on page 15 of the paper, the assertive Nashoko urges UG females, and actress and media personality Nashoko has implored female students not to succumb to the women are timid, quote, stereotype, but instead should be assertive and take up all types of opportunities that could hone their skills. I love that, and I'm highlighting it for good reason. Thank you.
Let's do the Daily Guide newspaper. Front page, AG slams NDC power contracts. COVID-19 vaccines effected against Delta variant. Baumia chases land barons. Coup plotters plan to kill Nana. That's the second witness on the call by the prosecution. I think he was given his witness yesterday.
As Dr. McPalm was.
Yeah, this is about the 10 persons who are standing trial for allegedly plotting to overthrow the government. And this witness said that, they actually plan to capture and kill the president as well. You can read the accounts in the paper. Ashanti Minister Defense former MP, also another headline on the front page of the story. If you go to the center spread where we have the news one, pull out. Mark Okrekumante approved as Deputy Tourism Minister. And then funny face expecting another twins. I thought it was a joke, but people are maybe taking it too serious, isn't it? So you're making some comments.
But that would be something, yeah? Twins back to back?
He already has twins, yes.
Wow.
Okay, so that's how the front page, I guess, the stories that I am highlighting, I guess, looks like in the Daily Guide. They've got many other stories in the paper.
I'll wrap with the BNFT, and about 50,000 firms risk losing legal status this month. That's on page 2, and that's according to the Registrar General. Attempts to frustrate accountability won't work. That's according to the Governor of the Bank of Ghana. That would be Dr. Ernest Addison. He is calling for support to retrieve 19 billion Ghana cedis from shareholders of collapsed banks. This just comes to mind. There are some people who supposedly took loans right before the entire assessment of the banking sector and all of that. People who, just to cut a long story short, whose loans have been practically forgotten. The banks are now defunct and all of that. And how do we deal with those situations? There are people who took gargantuan sums of money and maybe I would wrap with this. Remittance flows hits BNFT. You can't say flows and then say hits. Remittance flows hit $3.6 billion US dollars. Well, that's it for the BNFT.
Last paper, the Daily Statesman, Berima Ochre Boateng to be buried on July 3rd. We can get it right. Baumia champions technology-driven land administration and law to fight LGBTQI plus in the offing. Bagbin hints. And if you go to details of it, which is on page 2, it says the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, says urgent actions are being taken to pass a stringent law to check the activities of LGBTQ plus and other related groups in the country. According to him, stakeholder consultations are ongoing and the results will feed into a bill that will eventually be passed into law by the 8th Parliament. This was in response to a petition sent by one Emmanuel Abankwa Kese, a political activist in the Eastern region, appealing to Parliament to amend Ghana's human rights law to fight activities of LGBTQI+ and their presence in Ghana. There's more to the story in the paper.
Well, right before we do My Joy Online, there's Ghana shortlisting vendors for nuclear power plant on page 16. And there's resist temptation to spend more at Dongo advises government. Later, as we discuss with some of those MPs, we can get into some of these issues. Mama V, let's check out myjoyonline.com.
So my friend Awal just prompted me that there is a teenage pregnancy story in the Daily Graphic newspaper. We would look for the story and highlight that a bit, but in the meantime, we'll do my job.
I think it's the one about the one of the upper regions.
Okay, so that will be his region then.
Of that. I made mention of it.
Okay, so right now, whilst we get ready to go to My Joy Online and check out this story that Awal is prompting me on, let's cross over to Joy FM. Actually, this is just across us, and that's Hansen there doing his painting. Can we find out what he's doing? Oh, so I guess it is all such a big surprise. This is what you can see for now. Just guess what he's painting, and then we'll figure it out later on before the show ends. We will go back to him in the course of our program this morning before we get to time for showbiz, when it will all be discovered. And then we'll see the progress that he's made right now. What is he doing, Ben?
Well, whether it's going to be a person
he's just praying.
Or a thing. And you know, I love it because usually when artists start going like this, at least some of those I've seen on social media, in the end you see something amazing and you'd ask yourself, oh, so all this was about that? As of this point in time, I cannot hazard a guess what he is doing.
Okay,
I can't
this is the forecourt of Joy FM. That's where our artist is stationed now. If he's able to finish this before 8:45, maybe I can get my tattoo in 15 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. I
could do like MMV, you know? Like I want everybody to know my name when I step out.
Okay.
All right, so Hansen is doing his thing. We will be crossing over to him again. Let's do myjoyonline.com. ECG announces 22 days of doomsday in parts of Accra.
How many?
Is your area in there?
Oh, my light was off yesterday. So I left home, got back, and I was told that from 10 a.m. the light had been off till, I think it came on at around 6 p.m. Just a little shy of 6 p.m. But when I saw 22, I was actually thinking of Christmas carols. But it ain't Christmas yet. There is 22 days in the 22 days of doom. So what happened in your area?
The thing is that whether timetable or no timetable, we've been going off.
Yeah,
we've been going off for long hours. I think, was it 2 days ago? Like the whole night, throughout the day. I'm not even sure when the lights came up, but this timetable doesn't include my area, even though we go off sometimes.
But to be fair, my lights haven't gone off in a long time. I mean, there are phases in my neighborhood, and some phases go off. Mine hasn't gone off in a long time. Yesterday was more of the exception rather than the norm.
Okay. So this is Dumesiesi, and I said this one is Dumso. Okay. All right, let's check out the other headlines there. DCOP Opariado was removed from office for obstructing the work of his successor. We told you about Mr. Kandapa's statement to Parliament. You will not be Attorney General forever, Janapoti government. I mean, you know what is playing out here in terms of Nahu Kosam. Toddler feared drowned in Kumasi flood. This is a very sad one. So, baby was with mother. They were traveling in, how do we call those? The Pragia, exactly. And because of the heavy rains, they couldn't travel with it. They had to do that
on foot.
Exactly. And in the process, we understand the rains just swept the baby away. It's a very sad one indeed. Majority dismisses minorities demand for re-vetting of 4 deputy ministers designate. 2 siblings who branded. They said they went planting trees on June 11. So that's why.
You say Speaker had decided and communicated that they should go and plant trees.
Hey, Charlie. On our problems, shout. 2 siblings who brandish guns in viral video granted bail for causing fear and alarm. And we hope that all others are learning this lesson. There's no point. Like this whole waste of your time. Waste of everybody's time, waste of the state resources because you think you have guns and so you want to show off and say all sorts of things. This is what will happen to you. AstraZeneca Sputnik V vaccines potent against COVID-19 Delta variant, according to the Ghana Health Service. And then the judgment debt saga. Nature of power purchasing agreement signed exposed government to financial loss, according to the AG. How about the fact that we didn't put up any strong defense when this issue was being battled out in court? What
Maybe
actually resulted
in
the judgment debts. And then fire ravages Accra Academy dormitory, destroying students' belongings.
All right, well, this is where we actually take a break from here. Mama V, that story, I had actually highlighted it. It's the Upper East and region topping in teenage pregnancies. It's on page 13 of the newspaper. You can check it out, with a total of 6,533 cases of teenage pregnancies in 2020. I'd actually highlight.
They top. You know, I thought they had won something actually. They're actually number 1, but for the bad reason of recording the highest number of teenage pregnancies.
Exactly.
Hey, wow, what is happening? We need to have a conversation. What's happening to the boys and girls? It's not just a girls' problem. It is boys and men who make girls pregnant.
Well, I'm throwing a challenge to you. Some of these issues, we keep hearing them year in, year out. And the last statistic we got that we're all fretting about actually was even lower than the year before. How about we do something, highlighting this, targeting this, and big as you are, maybe you could become an ambassador to get the authorities doing something. We could team up on that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Stay with us. Ben says it was a thrilling Euro 2020 yesterday with the games that were played. Proper officiating, he stressed. And so Muftal will bring you what you missed yesterday. And of course, our own local league as well. Karela couldn't do it for me, but I'm still hailing them. They tried their best. I understand the officiating was terrible.
We're
also counting down to our game against Legon Cities today. So big ups, Hearts of Oak Masters. Still, stay with us.
When the script of football history is ever written, Cristiano Ronaldo will have his name written in gold as the greatest goal scorer of all times in the history of football. Yesterday, he equaled the record goal scoring history that's ever been put in place by Iranian former footballer Ali Dai, 109 goals in 178 appearances for the Portuguese national team. What a star this man is growing up to become, as many have always expected him to do. He now stands as the record goal scorer in the history of European football history. Also, in the Ghana Premier League, Asante Kotoko have gone to the summit of the Premier League table after defeating Kerala United by 2-1. We'll also be talking about Ghana's preparedness for the 2023 Africa Games, as local organizing committee chairman Dr. Ofosu Asare insists the country have got facilities to be ready to host the rest of the 53 African countries that will be joining Ghana for the multi-sport event. I am Muftal Nabila Ablai, and this is AM Sports on the AM Show. Let's start with local stories, where Asante Kotoko have gone to the top of the Premier League table after a hard-fought 2-1 win over Kerala United at the Lenkley Sports Stadium in Obuasi. The Porcupine Warriors now have 56 points, 3 more than rivals Hearts of Oak, who will meet Legon Cities at the Accra Sports Stadium later today.
Fabio, we saw that blast here again. It took a ricochet of Habib Mohamed. Two Kotoko players before Beko lashed onto it, beating Kwame by an assistant Lawan. Look at that shot. Taking a ricochet of two Kotoko players. The last one, Habib Mohamed, before Beko lashed onto that ball.
Let's take a look at the full results of match day 30 in the Ghana Premier League. Asante Ikotoko won by 2-1 against Kerala United. Brekum Chelsea were also 2-1 victors over Elmina Sharks. Dreams FC also won 2-1 against Teshiman 11 Wonders. They had to come from a goal down to win 2-1 courtesy of goals from Precious Bua. Great Olympics won 1-0 against Bechim United, and Wafa defeated Ediana Stars by 3-2. The game involving Midiama SA and King Faisal was postponed. Later today, Ebuswan Dwarfs will host Inter Allies. Liberty Professional will also stay at home and play Ashanti Gold. Legon Cities will play Accra House of Oak. It is being dubbed as the biggest game for Accra House of Oak because they will be seeking to equal the points that have been chalked by Kumasi Asante Kotoko following that win against Kerala United yesterday. Now, this is how the table looks like in the Ghana Premier League. Asante Kotoko 56, House of Oak 53 points. Dreams FC have got 48. Great Olympics have got 48. Kerala United have got 46. Wafa 46. Midiama SC 46. They have an astounding game against King Faisal. Ediana Stars have got 43. Legon Cities have got 38, and they will be coming up against Accra House of Oak later today. Per their position, their head coach believes that they will maintain their status as a Premier League club. Ashanti Gold are 10th on the league table with 37 points. They won the Ghana Premier League in 2015. Brekum Chelsea 2012 winners have got 37 points. Bechim United have got 37 points. FA Cup winners in 2016. Elmina Sharks 34. 11 Wonders 33. Liberty Professionals 32. King Faisal 32. Ebuswan Dwarfs 31. And Inter Allies at the bottom of that league table with 26 points. And now let's do stories that has to do with Ghana's preparedness to host the rest of the 53 African countries that will be joining us for the Africa Games 2023. And local organizing committee chairman for the Games is Dr. Ofosu Asare. He believes that the site at Boteman will have some facilities constructed before the Games in 2023.
We had serious interactions with them. We took them to the existing facilities that we have. We were at Accra Sports Stadium. We took them to other places, Bukom. We went to Kumasi and all that. We took them to the bare land at Boteman, and the works that will be going on very soon. The contractors are also getting themselves ready to do that. And when you want to start a construction of that nature, there are a lot of things you do behind the scene that people don't realize that you're working. One, you do the soil testing. Two, you do what we call the EIA, the Environmental Impact Assessment. That's for the local aspect. Three, you do the ESIA, the Environmental and Social Impact Assessment. That's for the foreign component. So all these things are going on. We have every belief that come 2023, we have some facilities at Boteman to have the games. And we also believe that if we're able to construct some facilities at Boteman and leverage on the others, Boteman will be opening up. We want to let Ghanaians benefit from we hosting the games as Ghanaians in terms of business, in terms of employment creation, in terms of the spin-off. Boteman will be opened up. Rose, what have you, the young ones will also have the opportunity to realize their dreams. You know, sports is a huge industry, and we think that come 2023 will be a very good opportunity for our young ones, will be a very good opportunity for businesses, will be a very good opportunity for the promotion of African unity, will be a very good opportunity for us to enhance the infrastructure that we have in the country.
And bringing us all of that. Expect a lot more from him later on the show, especially as we get into showbiz. What is he painting? Well, find out as we get into that conversation later on the show. But right now, we talk about the hot issues, the topical ones, the ones that rub raw on many people, the ones that have got all of us talking. Our guests, Roxanne Nelson Dafiamakbo, Member of Parliament, South Dai, Member Constitutional Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee, Member of the Standing Orders Committee, Member of the Public Accounts Committee as well. Wow, that's a lot of membership. I was teasing a while ago. Then Hussein Issa, former Member of Parliament, Okaikwe North. He's also a former member of Finance Committee, and we'll be getting into a lot of the finance matters and as well on the show. And foreign affairs. I think we always leave that out.
Yeah.
I think the last time you mentioned, we tend to leave that out.
I didn't register. because he has used more finance than foreign affairs. So,
anyway, gentlemen, thank you so much for coming. As usual, I know you're going to be very decorous, so no need. No need to get into
caution him. Caution him.
He's a good friend, but sometimes
caution him.
He gets the better of him, and he's a nice gentleman.
I like the way you guys, when you come, you compliment each other, and then later it becomes a bit of bugabu.
C'est la vie. That's life.
All right, so gentlemen, let's delve into some of those hot issues. We can start with the walkout.
Yeah.
Only yesterday, on the back of the acceptance, so to speak, of the nomination of some deputy ministers designate, 4 of them, and it's raised quite a storm. Especially you on the minority side, the minority caucus. You have said that it appears this was done on your blind side, almost. And the majority is also saying, no, I mean, you decided to go and plant trees. We went ahead to approve the deputy, nominees. And there's nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with that. We can delve into what Atachia has been saying. We can delve into what the majority leader himself has been saying. But what is your initial reaction, Honorable Dafiamekbo, to this matter?
It's, thank you very much. Good morning to Husseini once more. And good morning to my constituents, customarily, Peki Bali Tongo. My brother, what happened yesterday ought not to have happened. Why? Because a week ago today, Parliament took a decision to, indeed, we were written to. Let me even start from there. We were written to by the sponsors of the Green Ghana project. To, first of all, they were even soliciting funds from Parliament. And then second, they were urging Parliament to participate fully in the Green Ghana. And of course, you speak of 275 elected representatives of the people of this country. So we control the constituencies. We have the numbers. So the sponsors knew that if they see the MPs participate in the program, if they go to the ground and they marshal people to come out to participate, it will be a very successful program. So on that note, Speaker took a decision to declare Friday as a non-sitting day to enable us participate fully in the Greening Ghana program, which essentially was to plant 3 seedlings. So,
did you plant any?
I did.
Where?
In my constituency.
Okay. Southern.
Yes, okay. Because I was there. So we all left. In fact, some even left that Thursday evening. Those whose constituencies are a bit far off. So on Friday, this happened. Then we got to know that whilst we have all been implored, encouraged to go and participate in this program in our various districts, the vetting committee, constituted by the majority side, actually convened and vetted the nominees in question. And this didn't go down well with us. So our initial reaction was that we will not participate in the subsequent approval process. Then there were other agents to the effect that, well, if it's possible for the committee to revet the people, then we could, after that revetting, we could then participate. But it was turned down. That request was denied flatly. Essentially, denied by the majority side. They chaired the committee. So it was denied that they would not reconvene to revet, as it were, to revet these persons. So we have to, so the minority leader had to then move that if this were the situation, then they could not be, their report should be a separate report. All the 4 persons that were vetted that day, a separate report should be prepared on them. Because the report was, they were part of the initial 7th report, appointment committee report. So the report was taken back. And then they were taken out of the 7th report. That is why their report is the 8th report. And the also consensus had to be taken out to be a majority decision. And so that was what happened. And more importantly, we were not against Asunaba Dapa and the others. But as a political party, we were against the nomination of the Techiman South MP. So it was a political decision we are taking. That as for that, we will not participate at all. We will have nothing. We won't be touching with a 10-foot pole. He's like a hot potato. Because we are litigating with him in court over that matter. So we could not be seen to be participating in approving him. We will be concretizing his position in government.
So why were you not in Parliament then? I mean, is this revetting necessary? The majority leader has said that the Speaker of Parliament, Honourable Bagman, Right Honourable, should have consulted broadly. He should have consulted leaders of Parliament before going ahead with this entire plan to get all parliamentarians to go out there and plant trees and all of that, and that they had decided to go to Parliament. The vetting had happened. This revetting is not going to happen.
You see, the majority leader may have a point, but he wasn't available. And he has been teaching us that you are bound by the collective decision of the House. He was bereaved. So on that Thursday, they had gone to Kumasi. He wasn't around. He had left for Kumasi.
But communications don't need
exactly.
Don't need to. It must not be in person. Hold
on. And in his stead, the deputy majority leader handled business. In fact, on that Thursday, it was the deputy majority leader, the Honorable Afenumaki, who presented the business statement for the coming week. So every decision that the speaker took, he didn't take it in his singular capacity. He took it in consultation with leadership. That was how come even members were directed to take their token TNT. It was so official that the clerk had to give members TNT to travel to their constituency to go and participate in the program. So I should be asking those members of the appointment committee on the majority side whether they took their TNT and still sat in Accra and to do the vetting. Because so it means that we were doing an official program. To be given the TNT to travel to your constituency is so official. So the majority leader got it wrong. In his absence, it didn't mean that the speaker didn't consult. It was, look, we were encouraged by the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. Himself an MP to participate. And he was in the House on Thursday. He was encouraging us. We gave him ideas. For instance, I said that it's not sufficient for us to just go out and plant because we've done it before. But how do we nurture the seedlings so that 2-3 years from now, even if 500,000 seedlings survive out of the estimated 5 million,
now
it would have been
7 million.
It would have been something remarkable. So every year or every 6 months, we could be doing planting and ensuring that 10% of what we planted survived. Within 10 years, we would have been restoring our green cover.
So that point is made. Do you feel, and I'll be coming to you shortly, do you feel let down, tricked in any way by the majority side that you were out planting trees and they convened and had this, session which has culminated now in the approval of
it appears that the majority, most often, when we have an agreement, then they go back on it. Oh no, most often. And I'll give you. Look.
When you say most often,
I'll give you instances. I'll give you instances.
You know Che likes you very much.
Oh please, I know. He's my father, is my mentor.
Yeah, you know, that's why I'm reminding you.
Yes, I am not undermining. I am not undermining. He has taught all of us.
That's why I'm reminding you.
He has taught us to be forthright, and I'm being forthright with him.
Can you name one other instance, at least just one, where you feel they tricked you? Very briefly.
Okay. If you consider the fact that the House had agreed that we should go and plant trees, and you instruct the vetting committee, the appointment committee to sit without recourse to the minority members, that is going back on the decision. That's one. Two, if you recall, we had agreed that when it came to issues of considering formulas, there will be an agreement as to when these constitutional bodies will come. For instance, the NIA and all that, common fund. The common fund came yesterday. We were supposed to have taken the formula, but they decided that it will be today. And I find it very strange, right? Because it was advertised that the Committee of the Whole would do that. So my point is that it appears that we worked out on Asunaba Dapa, for instance. It appears that we worked out on the others, but that was not our intention. Okay. If everything was done properly, would they have worked out on them? The only person we had problem with was the Techiman South MP.
Okay.
As for that one, it was non-negotiable.
I was actually asking for any other instance that you could have spoken of where this sort of trickery had happened, but maybe you can suggest that. Let me come to Honorable Hussaini Isa. Now, what is your understanding? I'll come back on the legal aspect of it. What is your understanding of this entire?
I'm saying good morning to you again, and good morning to Honorable Roxanne Afemepo, who I will call a friend, and a good morning to the people of Okankwinov.
I'm your friend, or you are calling me a friend?
I almost asked him, is he a friend or someone you're merely calling a friend? Well, let's move.
Yes. It's okay.
To the people of Okankwinov, to who I'm eternally grateful for having given me the opportunity to have represented them in such an august institution like Parliament in the last 4 years, I should say. Walkouts and vetting and issues arising. Walkouts are tools, and they will continue to be tools open to members of Parliament.
It was approval.
Right.
You see?
Right.
There are tools available to them, and they probably will use them any time. In fact, outside, when we're sitting on the left-hand side of the speaker, I've also used it in the past. So for me, I think it's parliamentary issues and tools that
justified in this instance.
Oh, whether or not it's justified, I'll come to the point. And then also, I want us to also situate all of this within the vetting process. And constitutionally, I mean, who qualifies to be a minister? Anybody who qualifies to be a member of Parliament qualifies to be a minister. Right. But the vetting process also gives us an opportunity to have some insight as to who we are appointing into office, their knowledge of where we're taking them, and most times, the side on the left-hand side of the speaker is taking advantage of the vetting process to, I don't say bully, but to bring out issues that typically would not. This is not unique to NDC. Don't shake your head. You know how we do it. You see, every time the vetting process goes on, it's the minority side that is loudest because they take advantage of the vetting process. But typically, who qualifies to be a minister? Anybody who qualifies to be a member of Parliament. So when somebody is in Parliament...
we know that some of these deputies, not all of them are members of Parliament.
Of course. But I'm narrowing down to members of Parliament who are also appointed into the executive, be they ministers or deputy ministers. The vetting process is kind of more... it's more cordial because when you have to vet, let's say, a nominee like the majority leader for his position as a minister for parliamentary affairs, there's always some of this. So we probably will have to have a holistic look at how this vetting is going. But I mean, it's okay for people to ask relevant questions. I am also very happy that my colleague here concedes to the fact that they had taken a political decision a political decision, and they were going to use the institution of parliament to fight their political issue. It is composed by politicians.
I don't think he said otherwise.
I have not said parliament is apolitical.
Thank you.
I said you are using the institution of parliament to fight your political battle.
But that's why we fight political
Our
battles.
constitution allows us, even when you have issues with presidential elections, and you file a petition like we saw in 2012, like we saw in 2020, the president still remains the president. And he governs until the court says otherwise. Techiman South MP, I said there's an issue in court. He sits in parliament. In fact, there are people on the minority side who also have issues in the Jomoro one, has issues in court. He's been ordered to bring some documents within the next couple of days and all of. But he still sits in parliament. And these are MPs who even voted to elect the current speaker. What is going to happen if
what are you suggesting?
What is going to happen?
What are you suggesting?
Oh, please, Roxanne, don't be
Roxanne,
nice.
please allow.
You're a very nice guy. So why are you being?
Let him.
I'm not nice.
And then you can respond to. Oh,
I'm not nice.
You're not nice.
He says not for today, not for this morning.
What is going to happen to the speaker?
Not in this context.
Minimal heckling.
Thank you.
What is going to happen to the speaker if it happens that these people lose their seats when they actually voted for the speaker? Although, I mean, the standing orders, to test, removal of the speaker is kind of complicated. I mean, you need to test.
What exactly are you suggesting?
No, but I think we've been through this before. Just because you bring it up.
No,
once the speaker is elected.
I know.
Whatever happens afterwards, and
that's what I'm saying. I'm just listening to the fact
our offers of legalities here.
These were people who we knew at the time of election of the speaker had issues in court, but yesterday they came to parliament and they voted to elect the speaker.
At the time we elected speaker, nobody had issue in court.
So
we are not even been sworn in. So what are you saying?
Things are tools open to them. They can continue to use them. But I find it very patronizing for them to want to use the institution of parliament to fight their political battles.
Let me ask you a direct question. You find it patronizing. If you've been in parliament, if you were on the other side, and a vetting process had gone on in your absence, especially on a day like this, when nationally, hold on. When nationally we had said we're going to green Ghana. It was a national project. It wasn't just the lands and natural resources.
You know the budget, 125 million Ghana.
Everybody was doing it. We did it as a media entity to set good example. And your colleague members of parliament went and participated, some in their constituencies. Your side sat and did this in their absence. If you had been in that position, how would you react? Would you react any differently?
You see, on the very day, the Speaker of Parliament, he did plant a tree in the premises of Parliament. And he had invited, from what I gather, the chairman of the vetting committee, who happens to be the first deputy speaker, to come accompany him, go plant the tree. Honorable Joseph Usu was not in Bekwai, but he participated in the planting of the tree in the premises of Parliament. Parliament has a lot of those arrangements that happens. Sometimes, even when Parliament is on recess, it's important for committees to sit, and the committee is reconvened. I recollect one time at the height of the banking crisis, I'm a member of the finance committee. Even in recess, we had to come to Parliament to do some work with the Bank of Ghana institutions. All of this, I mean, these are arrangements that Parliament can always put in place. As to whether the ruling of the Speaker made it incumbent for everybody to leave Parliament on that day. How many members are on the Appointments Committee? Now 25, right? About 25 MPs out of 275. You could plant a tree wherever you are.
So for you,
you could plant a tree wherever you are and still be in Parliament.
So for you, this is much ado about nothing.
I think that, and I want to come back to the point that the minority side are using the institution of Parliament to fight their political battle like he has said to. And I think that is not fair. Himself and me, who has been there before, we owe it to the institution to build that institution to what it is supposed to do in our democratic dispensation. and not to be fighting or using Parliament as a way to fight our political. If you have an issue with an MP, you think it's election, and the matter is in court and it's ongoing. Why would you say we are not going to sit in your bed?
You feel that act was irresponsible? You're suggesting that it's much ado about it.
I think that it's very unnecessary. It was very, very unnecessary. But then again, I won't take it as a right from them. They are entitled to it. They can use some of these tools. They have used it. We have also used it, and will continue to use it as a tool in Parliament because the records will be there to state that they were not there.
Okay.
But that will not change anything. Those are deputy ministers nominated by the president. They have duly gone through the process in Parliament, and they will assume the office as deputy ministers. And that's case.
Okay, so I know you want to react. Make the reaction brief. And when you're done, I want you to give me the legal. Let's look at the legal picture. You're a man of the legal club.
Yes.
Samuel Atachi, a member of Parliament for Akeme Buaka South, says you have no legal basis to say that you are going to bring about a revetting or even push for it. So your brief reaction, and then you answer the legal question.
Now, thank you. Hussein is missing the point. The point we are making is not that the committee hasn't got the power to convene. That's not what we are saying. Or even convene during recess, or convene on a holiday, or even on a Sunday. No. We are saying that a decision was taken by Parliament. He speaks of Joe Osayusu. He's only the chairman of the committee. And fortuitously, he's also the first deputy speaker. If the speaker says, come join me, so we do this together, it's for the symbolism of it. But you do not leave that ceremony and call your members. Do you convene committees of Parliament with only one side? Is that what you would do? It's an aberration.
It's an aberration.
Yes, you don't convene committee of Parliament with only one side.
I don't think that was the intent.
Why?
Because the committee has been sitting for weeks.
Listen,
the committee has been sitting for weeks.
You're missing the point.
How am I missing the point?
The point of the minority is that on that Friday, we have all been asked, including leadership, to travel. We've been given TNT officially.
You were asked to plant trees, not necessarily to travel.
No, hold on. Oh, no.
And you asked us that even when Parliament is on recess.
So let's
and the stage for committees committees are convened.
Right. You didn't like it when he heckled you, so can you allow him to...
I am saying that listen to us, then you appreciate what we are saying. We are not saying,
briefly on that.
Yes, we are not saying that we ought not to have convened on that Friday. We are saying that Friday, Parliament, every member of Parliament has been asked to travel to his constituency and go and green Ghana.
That is
not to green Ghana in Accra. If your constituency is not in Accra, you don't stay in Accra and green it.
Right.
Go to your constituency, join your people, and do the greening. That was the instruction. That was why we were giving TNT.
Okay.
So you don't take TNT and sit in Accra and do vetting.
I think that point that point is made
please.
now. That point
days before that Friday, they had come out to say they were going to boycott the vetting for the Techima South.
Exactly. But
that is what you are saying. That you are using the institution of Parliament.
That point has been reiterated.
I haven't shied away from that matter.
Yes, I think that is the reason for what they are doing. That is the reason for what they are doing, and it's not about the tree planting.
I think that point even reinforces the fact that they wouldn't have wanted to be absent from because they wanted to be there.
They had taken a political decision to boycott the vetting of the Techima South.
Exactly.
And that is what this is about.
Thank you.
That is what this is about. And not the
Asunaba and Co are only collateral damage.
That is what this is about. And not
that is why we insisted that the report on the Techima South man be separate.
Okay.
We insisted. They refused.
This is about the South MP.
We made that point.
Please let
we made that point. That Asunaba and Co are only collateral damage. But the issue was about the Techima South. If you lump them together, we will deal with them together.
Let's quickly take a look.
Why mention tree planting?
Hold on. Let's
why
we are saying that.
It is not about tree planting.
Gentlemen, if we continue like
you
this,
had your time.
We might have to mute your microphones, and then I might have to. Let me moderate.
I am saying that we would have participated in the vetting of Dinah and the other two.
Right.
But would have walked out on Techima South. Wouldn't have participated. We made that point clear.
Okay, point well made.
So The legality, my understanding is that Atachian says what? We have no basis to call for a revetting.
No legal basis, no.
Why? The standing orders give the power to the committee to vet. If we think, if members, no.
That decision is for the chairman.
No, that decision is for the committee. The chairman is not the committee.
Chairman convenes meetings.
Yes, but that is, hold on. Meetings. The decision to convene meetings is his consultation. You sit here and say that the speaker hasn't got the power to make decision. You need to consult.
No, I have not seen.
Now chairman to consult.
But you know that's what the standing order says.
That is what it says.
Chairman convenes meetings.
The chairman convenes meetings in consultation with members.
In consultation, there's nothing like that in the standing order. The chairman convenes meetings. And
I'm saying that
if the chairman does not convene a meeting, no one else in the committee can convene a meeting. That's what the standing order says.
This has become a matter of the standing orders of Parliament, and both of you should know better.
Let me, and I know better.
That's what I'm saying.
And I'm saying the standing orders says that chairman.
And this is something we can easily check.
Yes, check it.
Chairman convenes meetings.
Yes.
But you do not convene meetings.
You see, you've shifted.
Oh, please.
Can we land on this?
We have practice.
Let's
the parliament operates with practices.
Right.
The practice is that when you want to convene a meeting, you consult your ranking, you consult leadership of the committee. There's a vice chairman, there's a ranking, there's a deputy. Do you convene a meeting and leave your ranking, the input of your ranking, a deputy out?
You don't.
You don't.
You don't.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The chairman
convenes meetings
and not the ranking member.
This end of the conversation.
I'll give you the legal basis.
Let's move forward. In recent times, some 20 plus people were arrested, nabbed on the back of LGBTQI matters. We've had these conversations in a while. And now we've come to the point where, a private citizen is pushing Parliament, Emmanuel Abankwa of the Eastern Region is pushing Parliament to give some direct legal status when it comes to LGBTQI plus in our country. How do we address the matter? He is citing amending the human rights, end of our law to state categorically where we stand as a country. And the Speaker of Parliament, the Right Honourable Speaker of Parliament, has received the letter and he says action is going to be taken. I'll also quickly cite what has happened recently, which I was sharing with you, in Hungary, where they are legislating. The president is yet to give assent to that, but those under 18, they will not be exposed to certain literature and other things concerning, LGBTQI. The European Union is going after Hungary. What do you feel this is going to trigger? Is it the right move? What do you expect to see now that you are outside of Parliament, Isa?
The issue of LGBTQI and all of that, for me personally, I still think that it's alien to our culture.
It's alien to our culture.
It's alien to our culture. And whatever we do, whatever legislation, whatever we set out to do should be in sync or should be aligned to our culture. We are people. Just like the Hungarians have decided that, look, the EU can do whatever they want within the EU community. Hungary is a member of the EU, but if they think that there's a point of departure, I think that is their right. And I also want to say that much as it's somebody's right to engage in activities of LGBTQI, and it's getting even weirder with time. It is getting serious. It's also my right. If it is your right to champion the cause of the LGBTQ community, it is also my right. To also fight against those rights. For what happened somewhere in the Volta region, I'm getting snipers of them. I don't have the full hang of, but I'm even hearing that these were foreigners or some sort that were reported to have done some gathering, and under some law or something they were detained, and all of that. Look, let's be open. Yeah, you never know. You never know. Not too long ago, there was some prison break in our neighboring or our brother and our sister nation, Nigeria. And there was every indication that those who had broken jail were going to lead here. So, I mean, and given what is happening in the Sahelian region and all of that, we really have to be up and doing. Make sure that our borders are secured and we will not allow foreigners to come here to push some of these things.
So your brief take on it is the right step? Is that what you're saying?
No. Much as it is somebody's right to promote the activities of the LGBT, whatever, community, it's also my right to be against it. But as a people, we should situate all of this within our culture.
I think, like was asked some time back of our president, has been asked of our presidents in recent times, where we stand. You feel it will bring some clarity to the matter?
I still think that it is not a matter of us saying we're going to legislate to support the activities or not legislate. I mean, let's just discourage this. Not too long ago, I think it was the Australian High Commissioner who went to Parliament to try to speak to the Speaker, and the Speaker was blunt.
Yeah.
Was blunt that, look, this is alien to us. You cannot come here and talk about some of these things and force us to legislate in favor of this activity. We are not going to do it, and that's it.
Okay.
That's it.
So we don't need any hardcore legislation after that.
No, I don't think we. I don't think we actually.
Thank you very much. Let's do this in 2 minutes.
Yes.
What is your quick take?
First of all, our constitution may guarantee rights and freedoms, but they are not absolute. That is why within our laws, when you are not 21, you cannot contract. You are aware of that. The same law says when you are 18 and you are of sound mind and you are a Ghanaian, you can vote. So why is it that when you are 15, you won't say that you want to vote? Because we have laws.
Even side by side, we could put the age of consent when it comes to intimacy versus even...
That is why when my daughters, when they are not 18, my daughters and my son, when they are not 18, I act in loco parentis, in place of a parent for them. So the Constitution says freedom of that, freedom of choice, freedom of religion, but they are not absolute. They are fetters. We cannot allow our children to be exposed to such literature. The law, look, our criminal, there are provisions in our criminal law which prescribe these things. But the criminal provision is such that you have to catch the person in flagrante delicto in the act. But we are not able to. That is why this person, this private person, says that we should enact law that would clarify the issues. We have to specify and prohibit the conduct. Look, if we don't do this, time was when the Westerners were buying human beings supported by legislation. They told us that it was legal to buy a fellow human being. They shouldn't bring this upon us.
Let's talk about money matters, and I'll come to you first. The GPGC, the Ghana Power Generation Company, issue $134 million at stake, judgment debt, and who is to blame? I mean, we've played this game from Boakye Jackson, or should I even say the NDC, to Boakye Jackson, to what we're seeing now, the AG, and all that he said about the excess power, why we even contracted, the NDC's own report within its tenure. And now we are faced with this gargantuan debt, close to $1 billion Ghana cedis that we are expected to cough up to facilitate a judgment debt that some say could have been avoided. Maybe we could have paid some $18 million and gone away. But here we are saddled with this. Your take?
Now who caused them?
Now who caused them? Now who caused them? Let me put it back to you. Now who caused them? If the NDC people caused them.
Now who caused them?
No, I'm asking you.
Now who caused them?
Who caused it?
Who caused it? Time gone when we were signing PPAs like confetti in the shop.
Like what?
Like toffees. I mean,
confectionaries, right?
Yeah, we just sign PPAs and throw PPAs at our Dumso problem as if it was all about generation capacity. And we'll continue to remind Ghanaians that, look, given our installed capacity and what we required at peak, there's excess capacity. And if the nature of the contracts are saying that whether or not this power, we use this power or not, we have to pay. These are liabilities that we've carried, and we continue to remind Ghanaians that...
You call them liabilities. I'm sorry I have to interject, but
yes,
the minority side has said that... in the past, you remember under Rawlings, we were exporting to other neighboring countries, Burkina Faso and the rest, and they have said that it was not going to be... That would go waste because there were plans to ensure that other countries would get them and fetch us some revenue.
Did we sign these PPAs with the intention of exporting that power? Do we have the infrastructure in place to be able to export this power? At what cost were we going to export this power? Because if the Ivory Coast is producing power at let's say 5 cents per megawatt, and you are producing at 7 cents per, why would they come buy from you? Why would they come buy from you? Those are the realities of it. You can't tell me that you've signed excess and that is costing us 500 million a year. And then you want to tell me that easily we could actually export this and how are we going to export it? Did we put infrastructure in place? At what cost? Why would you import power more expensive from a neighboring country from what you can produce locally? All of this is but now who costs them? Again, I'm glad that the Attorney General has said that, oh, the police CID people are going to look into this thing. A committee report was said. And the committee report stated, right, and NDC, that it was unnecessary. It was unnecessary. So those who committed this country
have responded. I mean,
they can respond. They can respond for all they want.
They are going to be sued.
For all they want, they can respond. But I am glad that the appropriate authorities, I mean, the Attorney General is giving this to the CID.
Okay, let me ask you.
Those who committed us to this.
Question. Let me ask you a pointed question. Even if, and I don't know whether both of you are not at fault in certain ways, both of you in terms of the minority now, and which was majority then, and you, the majority now, who were minority then. But the point I'm trying to make is, could we not have averted this, looking at the time available to do the right thing, attending to the courts to this point where we've been slapped with this sum of money? I mean, there's been talk of that, and maybe some negligence on the part of, the AG and our system, our legal system. Do you feel we did what was right for Ghana, knowing what was at stake?
I think that I will always do what is right for Ghana under this dispensation, under the presidency of His Excellency Nana Addo.
Did we do what was
right? These are also matters of the court. I'm sure Roxanne will appreciate much more as a lawyer than I do. But this is where we are. And when you fall, you don't look at where you fell, you look at where you stumbled.
Okay.
Right? And so who caused them? Who actually caused and committed this dear nation of ours?
So the NDC is to blame.
Such a wanton misuse of our resources.
Just clarified. So the NDC is to blame.
These are contractual issues that we have to deal with as a nation.
And that is where we are. Is the NDC
and that is where we are. My question is to Ghanaians this morning. Now who caused them? And those are the people. NDC... And those are the people who committed us to this, and they have to be held responsible.
Okay, so for you, the NDC is to blame. Roxanne.
Yes.
2.5 minutes. Box it all in.
The man had 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
I'm keeping an eye keenly on the time. So
Roxanne, I didn't know you to be such. I didn't know you to be such. 10 minutes.
Your time is eating away.
It's intentional. Look, we signed an agreement. The finance minister came to Parliament just last week, to answer to Suhini's question, whether he's paying monies in respect of this excess capacity that they've been throwing about. He says no. And I wish you can call Suhini. Please. The answers are there. He's written the answers. There were follow-up questions that he answered.
I'm not talking.
Suhini actually wrote a commentary on the encounter that for the first time, this question of excess capacity has been settled because the finance minister says he hasn't paid a dime. Look, you came to meet an agreement, signed on behalf of the Republic of Ghana, and you think that there was something untoward, and you decided to ignore the consequences of termination or unilateral termination, and you terminated. Even faced with that, you again went to sleep. You became indolent. You didn't attend court. Court entered judgment. You asked for extension of time. You were granted. You still went to sleep. The court confirmed the judgment. Then you come and blame the person who signed the contract.
But there were gaps between the time when the Attorney General took office, the appointment, the new year that started, the approvals.
My brother.
You're aware of that.
My brother, let nobody make that argument before you. It's a vainglorious argument to make because the Attorney General's office doesn't go to sleep. There are DPP, there are Solicitor General, there are a lot of lawyers
at the office. Even if the AG and deputies are not there, the Solicitor General steps in.
So what is this business that because we're facing elections?
So let's wrap on this.
The point I'm making is that this problem lies squarely on the feet of the NPP government.
I find it interesting that
hold on.
The MPP thinks the buck should be laid squarely at your doorstep.
Is it not a big lie? Let me give you a scenario.
How come?
Hold on.
How come neither of you?
Hold on.
That is why.
I haven't finished. You have a contract of employment with multimedia. That will last for about the next 5 years. There are conditions contained in the contract. There are consequences when multimedia unilaterally terminate. They go ahead to, there is a new boss, he terminates your contract unilaterally. You seek remedy on the contract. You are successful. And the boss who terminated the contract with consequences, with damages to pay, now blames the former boss that why did he employ you? Is that how we think?
Is it that simple, really?
It is that simple.
Okay.
It is that simple.
So at least one thing is...
So he says that why did the former boss employ you?
How could you do that?
Is that how you think?
How could you say this?
How are you saying that why did we sign the agreement? That's what they are saying.
If you didn't...
all that they are saying is that why did we sign that agreement?
It is clear we don't have an agreement on this matter.
Because they simply do not want to accept responsibility in anything. You go to court and go and say that you didn't come because of COVID. They blame COVID for everything, including court attendance.
Let's wrap on this. Let's wrap on this matter.
Why,
gentlemen?
You blame COVID for everything.
That's a reality of the times in which
you can't collect revenue. You say COVID. You can't attend court. You say COVID. I'm sure that soon you say that because of COVID you can't pay us.
Thank you, Dafemeko. Thank you. I don't think that is bait. I don't think that is bait you should bite.
You are simply inefficient. You are simply inefficient.
Gentlemen,
you are simply inefficient as a government.
Gentlemen, shall we have this conversation? Shall we wrap it or
we are happy to have a president who has shown leadership.
Which leadership?
Through this conference.
Dafemeko,
check inflows. Look, we had the inflows case. We had an attorney general who was very proactive in the inflows case.
Proactive to lead this country.
An attorney general who can prosecute, who can defend our interests.
We are happy to have a president who has led this country.
Thank you. Dafemeko, please. Okay.
Very happy.
Can we proceed, gentlemen? Thank you. Thank you very much. And I'm hoping that as I give you a minute each, you are not going to complain that I'm not giving you enough time. Thank you very much, gentlemen. So we're going to wrap on this question. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.
I am saying that.
So in 2 minutes, I want us to wrap on this entire saga with regard to DC.
Don't pair me with Fuseni again.
No, but that is not. I feel that is not. Would you like to say sorry to him?
I'm sorry.
Thank you. DCOP, Opariado, and all the. I mean, I don't want us to go into it because in a minute each, both of you, I want us to wrap on this bit. And now the National Security Minister says, what happened was sanctioned by me, and I would do it again. Your quick take.
That was my matter. That was my matter. It's a very unfortunate comment from the National Security Minister. Because you see, the evidence is that the persons who went there were Delta Forces members. DCOP himself.
That has been disputed.
No.
Let's just stay away from that.
Hold on, my brother. It was the man himself who spoke to you. So why would you want to disbelieve him and believe the Minister of National Security?
Delta Force.
When indeed...
Can we focus on doing it again?
Yeah, no.
We have a minute.
Yes. When indeed the Director of Communications, the Honorable Boabian Samoa, says that, yes, it was Delta Forces, but they had a backing of national security. It is rather national security.
No.
Hold on. I'll pull the publication for you.
Pull it now. And let's...
You remember that the same position in 2017.
I am aware. This is the second time.
The Delta Forces went to pull out the man that DCOP went to replace. So what is it about the office of the...
How do you feel about the minister saying he would do it again?
It's an unfortunate remark. I think he needs to apologize for it. Otherwise, you see...
Apologize to whom?
To the nation.
Okay.
For saying so, because officialdom should not be endorsing lawlessness.
Thank you.
That's my point.
The National Security Minister, Honorable Kendapa, has a job to ensure that when we go to sleep, they can actually see. He has a job to ensure that nobody stands in between him and providing that security to us. He's been given a job to do, and whatever it takes for him to make sure that I'm secure, our borders are secure, this nation is secured, I will support him in there.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. At a point, it was getting a bit tense, but I'm very grateful. We've discussed on the matters, and I'm glad you are shaking hands. Just avoid. We are in COVID times,
bro. Nowadays, a small public appeal. Urging the roads minister to do my Peki Hospital Road for me.
Peki Hospital Road?
Yes, from Chame Junction to the hospital is 650 meters. It's so deplorable.
All right.
They should just do something about it. Otherwise, when you bring patients, when patients are brought from the hinterlands, their medical condition may even worsen within that short distance. It's so deplorable.
And
I am incapacitated. I have no funds to do anything about it. I'm pleading with him. If he won't do any of my rules, he should handle that one.
I think Mr. Roads Minister, over to you. But thank you, gentlemen, for saying Issa, former member of Parliament, Okaikwe North, former member of the Finance Committee. We also had, joining the conversation, Roxanne Nelson, Dafia Mekwa, member of Parliament for South Dai. His committees are many, so I'll leave with that.
Except that what we're getting into is no party at all. In fact, it will make you angry. Well, we're on Joy Clean Ghana, and the team yesterday stormed the timber market. Actually, last week, the team of environmental health officers at the AMA on Wednesday closed down illegal slaughterhouses at Aveno. Several attempts by the Assembly in the past to get the operators of the slaughtery to adhere to sanitary standards have failed. They have issued closure notices to the owners of the abattoir who kill at least 200 cattle every day. Here's Manuel Cranton's report. I must warn you ahead, though, some of the things that you would see may be very disturbing.
A slaughterhouse within the Aveno electoral area. In the past year alone, at least 3 visits have been made to this same slaughterhouse with a caution for its operators to ensure adherence to sanitation standards. But like the mouse when the cat is away, the departure of the officials also means the return to flouting the regulations. Florence Kuchi is Director of Public Health at the Accra Metropolitan Assembly.
We've been here, my officers have been here, I have been here. So what we are going to do, after this, we will give you a notice and then we will go to court and plead that God should help us close down this place. Then the one-man company, you make it, because this is a place you make your living. It's a place you get everything that you want. A day, please, how many animals do you start?
Oh, we kill like maybe 300 cows a day.
300 cows?
Yes.
The team was greeted by open drains which had been choked by excreta from the intestines of the slaughtered animals. As flies besieged us in the yard, the pungent smell from the gutters at the abattoir was also in a strong contest for our attention. But that was before the orders came.
As we are standing here, we are commanding all of them right now. They should go and get brooms and start cleaning all the cobwebs. They should start right now, please. Go and get brooms and start cleaning the cobwebs right now.
Mahmoud.
Please, go get brooms.
Clear all the meat up. Everybody, get the boys all in. We want to see this place clean before. Everybody.
Every 3 months.
No. I'm not saying every 3 months. Get the meat up. Can you stop that thing and listen to what I'm telling you?
And as the workers began cleaning the premises, there were calls for the place to be closed down altogether. But owner of the abattoir, Alhaji Mahmoud, pleaded for mercy, promising to ensure immediate action.
Yes, right now it's not here, so I'll plead with you. So I'll come to the office and come and see you, so that I'll bring all the boys there.
Because anytime you said we come here for them to screen, they always keep running away. And when a summons is given, because you cannot come here, they will threaten you.
I am pleading. We will reach like.
You are how many?
Monkey 200. We will reach like
200.
Monkey 200 workers.
Let me say approximately 250. So tomorrow, call all your 250 officers. We are coming here to have you screen. And when we come and you refuse to do the screening, then the next action will be added.
But Madam, the current state of this slaughter slab is not conducive for anybody to consume from. Now, I see them dressing some of the animals. These animals are going to go to the market. People are still going to eat from them. What are we doing about that?
Already, most of these animals are gone to the market. Yes. You understand? Already, most of them are. These are just the few that we are having here. The meat is even out from here. It is likely to be contaminated into the market for us to consume.
And reference has been made prominently to the unhygienic state of this particular area.
While the place is dirty, they are breeding mosquitoes. It is not only the meat that is going to be contaminated. When mosquitoes also breed from this place, we know what the mosquitoes can also do. It can also lead to malaria outbreak. Though we are working hard to control the breed of mosquito in the country, they are also working hard.
You generate income since 2002 up to date. You generate income from here since my inception into Metro Public Health Department of AMA. This thing I come to meet you, and this is the existence of it. Your everyday income you generate. I think you don't fold your arms with the income you are generating, expecting government to come and develop the place for you to continue to make money. What you do is you input what you generate into the renovation of the place. Take a step. When you get halfway, call us, AMA, government, come and have a look. I'm doing this. This is where I've gotten to, I cannot complete. Come and add up for me to complete the thing, to make a standard for me, to serve the country. Where is the revenue you generate every day and you expect government to come and do it for you?
Veterinary here.
We are not talking of veterinary. You let's go. Please, let's go. We are not talking of veterinary.
Don't go to where you.
We are not talking of veterinary. So please don't.
So the officers of AMA are not having any of the word that Mahmoud is offering.
This place is a private, one-man vent. So this place, you are expecting the government to come and help you to clean up this place. Is yes or no?
The team was greeted by open drains which had been choked by excreta from the intestines of the slaughtered animals. As flies besieged us in the yard, the pungent smell from the gutters at the abattoir was also in a strong contest for our attention, but that was before the orders came.
As we are standing here, we are commanding all of them right now. They should go and get brooms and start cleaning all the cobwebs. They should start right now. Please go and get brooms and start cleaning the cobwebs right now.
Mahmoud,
please go get brooms.
No, clear all the meat up. Everybody, get the boys all in. We want to see this place clean before. Everybody. No. I'm not saying every 3 months. Get the meat up. Can you stop that thing and listen to what I'm telling you? Clear the meat up. Bring brooms and clean the place.
This is my father. This is the owner of the slaughterhouse.
Okay, sir. But you have been here for quite a while. The AMA officials say they've been here several times asking that maybe you should come a bit closer for the camera to be able to get you. But they said they've been here several times asking that you improve the conditions here. You've not done that.
We have tried our best before they come. Not here, no, so we have done our best, but we need help. We need partner to help us.
We are told that you slaughter up to 300 cattle every day. How much do you make from that?
Every day, animal. Oh, we know, unless the veterinary officer, we should start more than 20, 50, 100, 200, 500.
How much do you make in a day?
A day, maybe 1.5, and the veterinary will take 5.
I see. Thank you. And so he's just explaining to me how much they make in a day. And so what you're currently seeing is the AMA officials backing out orders to the workers here.
And as the workers began cleaning the premises, there were calls for the place to be closed down altogether. But owner of the abattoir, Alhaji Mahmoud, pleaded for mercy, promising to ensure immediate action.
Yes, right now it's not here, so I'll plead with you. So I'll come to the office and come and see you, so that I'll bring all the boys there.
Because anytime you said we come here for them to screen, they always keep running away. And when a summons is given, because you cannot come here, they will threaten you.
I am pleading with you, so that I will come and see you with my boys. So
please, it is not a matter of pleading.
Proving to you that they don't listen. People's health is at stake. And do we have to wait till tomorrow? Shouldn't we close it down?
The issue is we can close this place down. There's no doubt. But if we close this place is a little, though it's dirty, it is a regulated place. There's a veterinary officer here that does antemortem inspection and then postmortem inspection. You understand? So when we close down this place, they are going to do the slaughtering outside. A place that nobody is going to inspect the animal. And they are likely to even slaughter pregnant animals for us to consume. They are likely to slaughter sick animals that are suffering from TB, or animals that are suffering from any kind of diseases, or emaciated animals for us to consume. You understand? That is why we are asking them to clean the place. If they clean the place and the surrounding is neat, we can start from somewhere. You understand? If the surrounding is neat, then we will start to think about the building, how to ensure that the building is in a good shape. But for now, we want the surrounding, the floor, the walls should be clean and be neat. And then tomorrow, we are coming here for the medical screening. When we come and then the place is not clean as we ask them to do, the former honorable is standing here. We will take action against him.
Head of Environmental Health Unit at the AMA, Joseph Asitanga, explains why a notice of abatement is being issued instead of the closure.
We have come to meet them here. If we say they shouldn't be here, means that they will be slaughtering on the roadside. Elsewhere, a lot of it will happen by the roadside. That we means that would give a lot of work and a serious challenge to the assembly to go around to arrest them slaughtering elsewhere. That is the word we say, slaughtering elsewhere. Because they will live here, they will say they are not slaughtering here. But daybreak, before you go along the rails, or everybody will have butchers and slaughters there.
And secondly, this place, there is a veterinary officer who inspects the meat. So if we ask them not to slaughter here, they are going to slaughter outside without any veterinary officer inspecting the meat to see whether the meat is hygienic or is healthy or is not healthy. Whether the animal they are going to slaughter is sick or is not sick. Whether the animal is pregnant and they are slaughtering or is not pregnant.
But Alhaji Mahmood called for government support to be able to rebuild the place which kills cattle sold as beef in most parts of Accra. In all, the team visited 4 different sites, closing down 1 public toilet in the process. For JoyNews, Manuel Cranting.
This makes me angry. I hope that it makes you angry as well. So what are we going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? You watching right now, from today, make it a point to know where what you buy on the market as meat is slaughtered. That's how we can all help as well, so that if the place is unhygienic, then just don't buy it. But I know that this is a much bigger problem. Thankfully, the Clean Ghana campaign, the Joy Clean Ghana campaign, which is a collaboration with the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, is trying its best really to check how meat that we eat nicely at home, sometimes you buy it in a very nice place, but where it originates from is problematic. Well, let's just support the team so that they can do their work and prevent unhealthy meats from getting to our table. That's what we have for you by way of the Joy Clean Ghana campaign. Manuel Cranting following the team, and they closed, well, not exactly closed down this slaughterhouse. They've actually given them some assignments. We'll see the next time how the pictures look like. We will be talking to Anthony Jefferson Hansen, our artist today, who is painting something. I'm not sure what it is. So we'll discover that in a bit. That's all coming up in show business shortly.